Our next fall-themed video is solving multi-step equations. Remember, whenever we're solving equations with one variable, the goal is to get that variable alone on one side. So our first step is going to be to choose a side for the variable. The easiest way to do this is to find which side, adding or subtracting a variable term, like our 3x or our x here, will give you a positive value for an x term. Having a positive value for x makes it so that you don't have to worry about getting rid of that negative later. In this problem, to keep our x's positive, we're going to add 3x to both sides. So this will cancel out over here because minus 3x plus 3x will give you 0. So you get 2 on the left side equals 3x plus x gives you 4x minus 6. Now our problem looks a lot like our two-step equations that we've done previously. So remember, we go in reverse PEMDAS order whenever we're solving equations like these. So we're going to add 6 to each side. So we get 8 on the left side equals 4x on the right side. This gives us our variable term alone. Now to get just x to solve for the problem, we can divide both sides by 4. 8 divided by 4 gives you 2, and the 4's cancel out to give you x. And x equals 2 is our final answer. Just like the checks we do in other problems, you can do a check when there's multiple x variables in a problem. So we're going to substitute x for 2, which is what our answer was. So we have negative 3 multiplied by x, which is 2, plus 2, which equals 2, which is our variable again. It was x in the original problem, minus 6. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6, plus 2 equals 2 minus 6 gives you negative 4. Negative 6 plus 2 gives you negative 4. So you have negative 4 equals negative 4, so you know your answer is correct. Since these problems can be really tricky, we're going to go ahead and try another similar example. Take a second, pause the video, and try to figure out which side you think you should move the x's to. It would be correct to move your 3x over to the left or to move your negative 6x over to the right side. But if you want to have the least hassle and the least number of steps, you can add 6x to both sides so that your variable term stays positive. If you were to subtract 3x from each side, you'd end up with negative 9x rather than adding 6x to both sides, where we get positive 9x. So you have positive 9x minus 18 on the right, and the left side, the 6x, positive 6x and minus 6x cancel out to give you negative 27. Now the next step would be to go ahead and do reverse PEMDAS. So you do subtraction and addition first. We're going to add 18 to both sides to get rid of this term, so we have our x term alone. So we have just 9x on the right side. Negative 27 plus 18 will give you negative 9. Now if you divide both sides by 9, to get x by itself, you get x equals negative 1. Remember to go ahead and do a check by yourself to make sure that this answer is correct. Here are some examples you can go ahead and try by yourself, so please pause the video at this point, try these problems, and then check your answers with me. Since these problems can be tricky, I'll go ahead and walk you through the solutions to number 3. So hopefully you tried this on your own and you can check your work as you go through with mine to see if we got the same answer. So first, you're going to want to do the multiplication first because that's how you work with PEMDAS. So you're trying to simplify one side. So you do 3, I'm going to make this a plus negative 2 just to make it a little bit easier for me to track my negatives, times 5x minus 6 equals 35. Now we can use the distributive property and take this negative 2, stick it in a slingshot like we're playing Angry Birds, and we'll bomb this 5x and this negative 6, or we can make this, we'll make this plus negative 6 there. So we have negative 2 times 5 with the distributive property, so it gives us negative 10. And there's an x attached to that. and we do negative 2 times negative 6. So negative 2 times negative 6 would be positive 12. And we can copy down the rest of the problem that we haven't used yet. Now we can simplify on one side, so we can simplify this left side here. 3 plus 12 is 15. So we have 15 minus 10. X equals 35. So we will subtract 15 from both sides. So we get just the x term by itself. So you get negative 10x equals 20. Divide both sides by negative 10 because we want to see what positive x is equal to. Negative 10 cancels out, and you get x equals negative 2 as your final answer. If you go ahead and do your check, you'll find out that that's correct. So we'll go ahead and do example 4 as well. So if you combine like terms here, you're going to combine your x's. So you have 6x minus 4x, which gives you 2x, and you have 7 minus 12, which gives you negative 5, and that's equal to 5. Add 5 to both sides, and then you have 2x is equal to 5 plus 5, which is 10. Then you can divide both sides by 2. You get x equals 10 divided by 2, which is 5. Again, you can go ahead and do your check here, and you'll find that x equals 5 is correct. I went ahead and solved number 5 for you because it's a little more straightforward and pretty similar to the other two, so go ahead and pause the video and check your work. And we'll go ahead and do the last problem together. So when 42 is added to 5 times my favorite number, the result is 102. What is my favorite number? So 42, first we want to just write the problem, is added to 5 times my favorite number. So we'll say plus 5n, where n is the number. The result, that would mean what it equals, is 102. What is my favorite number? So now we can go ahead and solve the equation just like all of the others. So we subtract 42 from both sides because we do reverse PEMDAS to solve. Minus 42. So these cancel out. We get 5n equals 60. Divide both sides by 5 to get n by itself. And we get n equals 12. And 12 is my favorite number.